the most consistent finding in terms of benefits is that both ESOPs as well as co-ops provide better job security. So they hire less when times are good, but they also fire less when times are bad, including during economic downturns such as the recent Great Recession. A lot of people have been talking about erratic scheduling lately. Another thing that I've found in a lot of the co-ops I've looked at is they actually do things to address this. So Cooperative Home Care Associates in the Bronx, which is by far the biggest co-op in the country, 2,400 workers, they have implemented a guaranteed minimum hours policy where if you are on call for a certain number of hours each week and fulfill other basic requirements, you get 30 hours of pay, even if you don't actually work 30 hours. And so that's a way of actually stabilizing people's incomes. Of course, we need to think not only about income inequality, but income volatility, right? And then another thing that I would point to, just thinking more generally about the surge in co-op development that I spoke about earlier, a lot of this has been happening in the domestic work industry, actually, among home care providers, nannies, and house cleaners. So domestic workers, they're largely immigrant women of color who face a lot of barriers to traditional employment for a range of different reasons. Because of the exclusions from the NLRA, that of course you know a lot about, and the structure of the industry, they've also had
National Labor Relations Act, for those of you that don't know the alphabet soup.
Right. So they've also had a really hard time forming unions historically, right? And so co-ops in these kinds of conditions, it's not a silver bullet. Domestic workers still have to contend with these very individualized relationships of power with their clients. There's all these issues that Emily raised in terms of actually learning how to run a business. There's a steep learning curve, and I think that's something that's a challenge. In a lot of cases, incubating organizations play a really important role in helping to walk new organizations through those steps. But what we've also seen is that in a number of these co-ops, they do pay above market wages. I think we still need to do a little bit more research to assess whether that's a general pattern. And the other thing I would say is that they really create a means for collective empowerment, the exercise of collective agency in conditions where historically it's been nearly impossible, right? And so it's an alternative, in a circumstance where you can't form a union. This has been something that's been an important alternative.